camera. You give it off, down.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Screen.com once again. I'm Alex Navarro.
I'm Matthew Rorie.
Hi there. How you doing, man?
I got faith of the heart.
Dude, it's like Halloween almost.
It's getting close.
It's like just a few days away.
Yeah, it's too bad it's Sunday Halloween though.
Yeah, those are never that much fun. But Saturday will be good. I'll be nice and hungover on Sunday for Halloween.
Yes.
That'll be good.
Get the hell out of my front door, kids. Oh, God. Oh, the light.
So as you may have observed, we've been doing some Halloween-related features here on the site. We've been doing movies for the screening room, and we did the Defending Your Movie and some other stuff. We wanted to do like a proper Halloween feature leading up to the holiday and whatnot. And I don't know, everyone's doing the big like goriest horror films of all time, scariest horror films. You know what I like? I like a good horror comedy.
Sure, I think that's an unappreciated genre.
It's it's sometimes nice to be able to see like really scary, crazy stuff mixed in with like really silly humor, and it's a genre that I think people don't give enough
Ebb and flow.
credence to.
Ebb and flow.
Yeah, a nice mixture.
We watched Zombieland on Screening Room not too long ago. That's a really good one.
That's a very good one.
Yeah.
Not on our picks or our list this here feature, but we each chose our three favorite horror comedies of our personal
Horomedies.
Our personal film viewing histories. So
Sure.
I just thought we'd go down the list, go talk about some of our favorites, and
No particular order.
Nah, not really.
Just talk about movies you might enjoy, or maybe you've already seen. You want to talk about them too in the comments.
I'll tell you what my favorite is, but we'll go from there.
Okay.
Anyway, why don't you tell me what your first pick is?
I'll say I'll go down in order too. I'll start with the stuff. The Stuff stars Paul Sorvino, Michael Moriarty of Law and Order fame.
I love Michael Moriarty. Love him.
He acts up a storm in this one.
Oh yeah.
You know why they call me Mo?
No, why?
Because every time people give me money, I always want more.
The story begins in an amazing way. It's just a dude, snow-covered mine, white stuff bubbling up out of the ground. And what do you do when you see white stuff bubbling up out of the ground? Oh, I'll put that in my mouth. Oh, it tastes delicious.
Yeah, that's usually the right decision to make in most situations.
Anyways, the movie's kind of a very, very obvious parody of mid-'80s consumer culture. It basically is kind of the Coke-Pepsi fight, except it's the stuff,
right,
which is taking over the entire marketplace, and the ice cream manufacturers who want to find a way to shut it down. So they hire Michael Moriarty to kind of find a way to find out why the stuff is so addictive. People get turned into zombies. People blow up.
Yeah.
Stupid movie, but funny.
Yes.
And I wouldn't say it's as insightful as They Live in terms of
certainly not
social commentary, but it's still kind of funny to watch, especially 25 years after it came out.
The thing I'll say about the stuff is that it was one of my favorite movie like VHS boxes of all time. Like,
Yeah,
it was
one really good cover art.
Really good cover art, really good back of the box like still frames
Yeah.
of like people getting like totally consumed by the stuff.
Garrett Morris has one of the most disturbing death scenes you'll ever see in a movie. Spoilers about Garrett Morris dying in this film, but
I'm sure we'll see the footage of that just now, in fact.
Oh, God! Charlie!
Anyways, what's your first pick?
My first pick is Creepshow. Perhaps otherwise known as Stephen King's Creepshow, depending on who you ask. But yeah, this is the sort of kind of horror anthology type thing, which is sort of based on like the old school like horror comics kind of thing.
The
where,
easy
like,
comics kind of
yeah,
stuff.
you would see the old like the very cheesy horror stories in comic form. And so Stephen King adapted 2 of his short stories and then wrote 3 special for this movie, which was directed by George Romero of The Dead fame. And
yes, I do know George Romero.
Yes, you do know him. Okay. And so, yeah, the thing about Creepshow is that it has sort of a weirdly great cast. It has people like Hal Holbrook and like Adrienne Barbeau and Ted Danson and Leslie Nielsen, and Stephen King himself like plays a significant role in one of the stories.
Sure.
But it's also just really, really funny, cheesy horror stuff. And I remember as a kid when I first saw it, because the movie came in '82, and I think I saw it the first time when I was like 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah.
Really just kind of unnerving stuff in there, like really good, gross, kind of nasty horror stuff, like mixed in with like the totally cheeseball storyline.
Yeah, you don't really think of King as a comedy writer. I think of him now as either obviously horror, but then also schmaltzy, over-the-top schmaltz, like Hearts in Atlantis kind of stuff too.
Totally.
More of the novels that he's written than the screenplay, because I don't think he does a lot of screenplays anymore. But anyways,
no. But yeah, so it's it's kind of like one of those good celebration of dumb horror type movies. I especially am, in fact, fond of the Stephen King one where he finds the meteorite and he touches the meteor shit, which is the green stuff, and then he starts getting overrun by this plant-like material, and it's actually surprising that he does that scene all by himself, for the most part. There's barely any other characters in that one.
Adapted from a stage play.
Yes. And then I also really like the one with Hal Holbrook where he decides to get back at his cheating wife and her lover and by burying them up to their necks in the beach while high tide is about to come in.
I think I remember that one as well.
But then they come back as these seaweed sort of infested zombies to get him. And that shit really messed with me when I was a kid.
Horror at Party Beach style.
Yeah, totally.
Excellent. Well, that's a good pick.
I like that one a lot.
I'm gonna go for my number 2.
What's your number 2?
Tremors.
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 Oh,
Man,
Tremors.
what a great! it's one of my. I wouldn't say it's one of my earliest film-going memories, but I do specifically remember going to see this with my uncle. I think I was in Hawaii for a vacation, and thing about it, really good horror, really good action beats, really good all that stuff, and also the humor is really hits too.
Snappy.
It's really. I wouldn't say it's all totally separate, but it's separate enough to make you appreciate it for both aspects of being a horror and a comedy.
Well, I remember some of the scenes in that movie actually making me kind of tense.
Sure.
When they're trapped on the ground for whatever reason and they can't get to high ground when
They
the
can't
crazy
move, they all know
graboids
the
are running
seismic-
around.
yeah.
That stuff was actually kind of. Then all the dialogue between Fred Ward and Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, and Reba and Michael Gross too
Yeah.
is really funny. As far as stereotypical rednecks go,
They're
Reba-
pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty.
They're
good.
pretty good.
So remember all that. I don't know. I just think the concept of monsters you can't see is really effective in horror movies because you don't see a lot of horror movies that take place in the daylight because what would you do?
Yeah.
You can see everything coming at you. Having them underground, brilliant stroke.
Totally.
Made a bunch of sequels to this one, TV show, but the original's still the best.
Yeah, by all means, watch the original. Stay away from pretty much everything else related to Tremors.
You're number 2.
Beetlejuice. It's showtime. The thing about Beetlejuice is that it is more comedy than horror, certainly.
Yeah, it's Tim
and
Burton.
the stuff that is scary in that movie is not really scary so much as it is just kind of occasionally surprising.
Or campy scary.
Very campy scary. But it's Tim Burton, and it's there's some legitimately clever horror type stuff, the zombie football team.
Yeah.
Anytime they're in the other the guy, the flattened paper pusher dude who's telling them what to get, the woman that's sawed in half sitting on either end of the couch. That stuff that's good kind of Halloween-y cheesy horror stuff. Yeah. Mixed in with what's a very funny comedy,
Michael Keaton's best role.
Certainly Michael Keaton's most active,
Memorable.
Definitely his most memorable role. Probably the most fun I've ever seen him be on film.
He ate that up.
Oh yeah.
Now, does the presence of Jeffrey Jones make you feel uneasy about this movie in retrospect?
Not really.
Okay.
It's one of those things where it's if I see him in a new movie now, I sort of am a little
he hasn't worked much.
The last thing I saw him in was Sleepy Hollow, I think.
Okay, I saw him in Deadwood. I think was still filming.
He was in Deadwood. That's right.
Jeffrey Jones, the dad in Beetlejuice, was I believe arrested and probably convicted of child pornography.
I forget exactly,
but
he was definitely
molestation or something.
No, it wasn't molestation. I think it was just pornography.
Okay.
But whatever the case, it was seedy, unpleasant stuff.
And it's weird seeing something like that now. In a movie that you love.
It is, but at the same time, the movie holds up. I mean, he still plays that. That role is still good.
Still pretty good.
I like Catherine
O'Hara.
Catherine O'Hara as the mom.
Gina Davis is really good.
One of the last times Winona Ryder was really good in a movie.
Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin. It's a great cast. It's great, funny stuff.
Good stuff.
All right,
I'm gonna go my number 1.
Let's go with your number 1.
I don't think there's any place that this would have fit anywhere else, but Shaun of the Dead is
oh, absolutely.
Even though it's young, it's still, what, 05, something like that?
Yeah, it's certainly mid-2000s, and it's...
But immediately made an impression on me. This is super funny, the zombie stuff is really well done. It's not afraid of being really gory at times, too.
Yeah.
And I laughed my ass off the entire time.
Well, that's the thing about, so Shaun of the Dead up to the end is basically all parody.
Sure, yeah.
And then at the end, it turns into an actual zombie movie.
Yeah.
Which is sort of crazy. But the thing I'll say about Edgar Wright is that whenever they pick a genre that they want to sort of either lampoon or at least, sort of celebrate in their own weird way.
With Hot Fuzz.
With Hot Fuzz, exactly. They are really good at hitting all the necessary beats.
And they will do it efficiently and with skill.
The funny bits of dread horror they do early on when he's like walking around the neighborhood and there's like zombies everywhere and he's totally oblivious to it.
It's a really good kind of, and again, maybe it's weird that horror comedy is really good at social commentary too.
Yeah.
Because he can't tell the difference between
The
normal
zombie versions, yeah.
zombie people who are just zombies because they're tired and just want to get through the day, and actual zombies. It's really kind of biting. Like social commentary, I think horror does better than almost any other genre.
Okay, what's your favorite part of Shaun of the Dead?
Ooh, a very specific moment. I remember the nerdy best friend getting freaked out and wanting to run outside, and then the zombies immediately pick him up and start ripping him apart.
Yes.
Really good gore. And then all of a sudden, like, I have to go out and save him, even though he's being ripped into.
Yeah.
I don't know why that
was really good.
That and the dart in the head. My mom
Dart in the head is really
so
good.
hard at the
It came out of nowhere. Mine is when they meet the doppelganger zombie survivor team.
It's very good.
That is like one of those good little throwaway moments that you're like, this is perfect.
And because that woman who is the doppelganger was his co-star in Spaced, I believe. Not Edgar Wright, but
Yes.
I forget his name at the moment.
Yeah.
Actor's name.
Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg, indeed. You're always good with the names.
Yeah,
Alex
that's what I
Navarro.
do.
This is Alex Navarro, right?
I don't know.
Anyways, your number one, climactic finale.
I have to pick this one. There's literally no choice for me. It's my favorite movie of all time, straight up, Ghostbusters.
It's too subtle, Marty. You don't think people are going to drive down and not see the sign?
I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, not familiar with it. Harold Ramis.
Very good
Bill
choice.
Murray.
Very
Yeah,
good choice.
and it's another one like Beetlejuice that is definitely a little more campy than it is like
Sure.
straight up horror. Like it's ghosts. It's not monsters.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not gory at all. But at the same time, like there's like when I was a kid, it was 1984 when that movie came out.
Slimer is not a
Slimer was
fun-
kind of messed up.
No,
like, and
gotta go through you
some of
and
the
almost
ghouls and like the whole like Zool stuff and the possession and all that shit. Like that
The
stuff was
dogs,
kind of crazy.
Giant Marshmallow Man?
Giant Marshmallow Man, kind of
Pretty-
scary, especially when he starts making the raw sound.
Really good special effects of him climbing up that building.
Yeah, most definitely. Like really, really good special effects for its time. One of the absolute funniest movies ever made.
Sure. The notes in there, it's true. This man has no dick.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so
Where do these
crass
stairs
and
go? They go up.
All the stuff in the prison cells really
Oh,
good
yeah.
too. Oh, madness, dogs and cats.
Yeah,
together.
it's just one of the most perfectly constructed combinations of like sort of supernatural, story stuff and like just sheer absurd Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd style comedy.
Yeah, just
Like,
script and acting put together in a
Yeah.
way that, like, Ghostbusters 2 was okay for what it was. If Ghostbusters 2 was a separate thing, it'd be pretty good, but
it's
then...
fine for what it is.
It's
but yeah,
fine for what
it's a
it
good
is, but
movie.
it doesn't really compare. Ghostbusters 1
No.
to hit everything
Every
on the
note perfectly.
And oddly enough, we might see Ghostbusters 3 within a couple years, so you never know.
Never know.
It'll be recast with, like, teenagers, probably, but
Bill Murray at the Scream Awards in the Ghostbusters costume was pretty good,
seemed
though.
pretty...
It was nice. It was nice to see that.
Anyway.
Anyway, so those are our picks. As always, there are plenty more that we didn't get to list off. I can think of just several offhand, like Young Frankenstein, Slither,
Dark Fantasy, but that too.
Reanimator, Return of the Living Dead. Like, I can keep listing them off. But you know what?
The Fly.
You don't need to listen to us talk anymore. I want to know what you guys think. I think you should go to the comments. I think you should post some of your favorite horror comedies
Make
of all
a
time.
list.
Make lists.
Check it twice.
Tell us all what you think about this genre and what some of your favorites are. And you know what? Make your own little movie marathon. It's a couple days from Halloween. You got the weekend. Eventually, I'm sure you'll go drinking, assuming you're of age.
21.
But before that, watch some good comedy horror. Have yourself a nice time this Halloween.
Have a good Halloween.
Go out there. Be safe. Don't eat any poison candy. Don't
be
drink and
afraid
drive.
no ghosts.
Don't drink and drive, and don't be afraid of no ghosts. We'll see you next time.